warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I'm Kanaya from Telkom High School Bandung, and I'm going to present an Indonesian folklore entitled Cupak and Grantang. Cupak and Grantang were brothers, but they had very different appearance and attitude. Cupak the elder was fat, had sideburns, his hair was masked, and with a big pot belly, he loved to eat. He was such a sneaky bad young man. He was totally different with his younger brother Grantang. Grantang was a very handsome young man, well-built, kind, polite, honest, and forgiving. Every woman who saw him would adore him. They lived in a country called Daha Negara led by Datu Daha as the king. Datu Daha has a very beautiful daughter. Her name was Dewi Sekarnitra. Once upon a time, the princess was kidnapped by a very evil giant. She was locked up in an old, very deep well. The king gave a contest for whoever saves his daughter, then he will be married to the princess and will be the sole heir of the kingdom. Cupak heard the news, and he asked Grantang to take part in a contest. One morning, accompanied by the knights of the kingdom, they were both escorted to the wilderness where the giant lived. Cupak boasted that he would defeat the giant alone. Suddenly, they heard the sound of the giant snoring. Cupak trembled, but remember, he had already boasted, so he finally dared to fight the giant alone. But eventually, he fell and lost. Seeing his brother fall, Grantang swiftly helped him and fought the giant. By Grantang's excellent fighting skill, the giant was defeated, fainted, and lost. Cupak saw the golden opportunity, and he bravely killed the giant with a dagger given by Datu Daha before they left for the forest. A dead giant with Cupak's dagger stuck in its large, broad chest. Whew, the well is too deep, my brother. You don't want to let your brother go down, don't you? Said Cupak. Well, Grantang immediately went down the well where the princess locked up. After he reached the bottom of the well, he was amazed to see the beauty of the princess, who was almost fainting while holding her knees tightly. Then he introduced himself and soon helped the princess to get out of the well. He shouted at Cupak, who was waiting on the surface of the well, to pull the rope gently. But Cupak, he was eagerly pulled off the princess, so the princess felt dizzy. Then she fainted. He grabbed the princess and left Grantang in a well. Cupak was thinking, if I pull Grantang up, of course he will be married to the princess. Because he risked his life to defeat the giant and dare to enter the well. Moreover, he's so handsome. Well, Cupak left him and closed the surface of the well with a very large stone. After that, Cupak took the princess to the palace. The king of Daha Negara fulfilled his promise, although he seemed to doubt that Cupak was the one who defeated the giant. The princess also testified that it was Grantang who saved her. But Cupak, he didn't give up and convinced them. So, without taking much time, Begawe Balik, or a massive party, was held in a courtyard of the palace, signaling that a wedding will take place. Meanwhile, Grantang managed to get out of the old well by a strong efforts, passions, and God's help. Then he rushed to the palace. Seeing the presence of his younger brother who was still alive, Cupak was so angry, and he asked Grantang to a Parisian duel to prove who had saved the king's daughter. Grantang was actually relented, but Cupak insisted and considered Grantang's attitude to be an insult for him. Well, Grantang accepted the challenge. Cupak lost by just a few punches. Then he fell down. The princess confirmed that Grantang was the one who saved her. Cupak was immediately surrounded by the soldiers. He was about to be killed. But Grantang, he asked the king to forgive his brother's mistake. Well, at Grantang's request, Cupak was forgiven. But as a punishment, he was banished from the palace. Grantang was married to the princess and became the sole heir of the kingdom. They lived happily ever after. Everyone, this story is representing our characters in daily life. It is Cupak's character that we must avoid. The shifty and arrogant will only lead us to a misery. On the other hand, Grantang's character of kindness, honesty, and sincerity will lead us to the goodness in our lives. An anonymous quote says that the evil will always lose to good. I'm Kanaya Adystha Belva. Thank you for listening and have a good day.